Today, my friends, we are answering one of the most burning questions in the modern economy. Is AI hot? Welcome back to the AI Breakdown. Today, we are effectively doing a case study of just how much every company in the world, across basically all categories, is having to figure out how they are going to incorporate AI into their offerings. Now, this does tend to happen anytime there's some big tech movement, right? There were, for example, many companies last cycle talking about what their metaverse strategy would be. However, for one who watches these sort of frontier tech movements and hype cycles, it is very clearly different right now. And while it is highly unlikely that some of these nascent efforts, for example, we'll talk about DoorDash's order assistant chatbot in just a moment, will ultimately be the thing that really works for a particular industry, it seems highly likely that artificial intelligence-powered tools, be they LLMs or some other type of generative AI, are going to find their way into just about every type of business. So today we're going to go over 4 or 5 case studies of companies putting AI into their products, all from the last 24 hours of news. We begin with Stack Overflow. Yesterday, countless developers excitedly tweeted things like Danny Thompson here, who says, Stack Overflow just announced their own AI. And unlike many of the companies that we'll talk about today, this one has a little bit of history that makes it even more interesting. Up to now, Stack Overflow has been a major loser when it comes to AI. Between October 2021 and July 2023, Stack Overflow has lost about 56% of the traffic to its website. Stack Overflow is best known as a resource that developers use to get answers to their coding questions. Now, already you might be able to guess why the rise of AI might impact how much traffic was going to Stack Overflow. However, if you look back at seminal events from that October 2021 period, one of the big ones was GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot is, of course, an AI-powered tool that helped programmers by auto-completing code. It was built out on GPT-3 and began what has become a major trend and change in how people write code. In short, the more that you have AI to help write the code in the first place or support your efforts to figure out what's going wrong or debug, the less you need the sort of human-moderated forum that Stack Overflow offers. In fact, Chamath Palihapitiya actually called out this phenomenon with specific regard to Stack Overflow last year on the All In podcast. So what is Stack Overflow's AI? Well, one, it's called OverflowAI, and it basically allows people to interact with the platform via a chatbot-style interface. Remember, people have contributed 58 million answers to Stack Overflow in the past. That kind of seems like a perfect use case to bring the power of an LLM into the experience to be able to better search and sum up questions that can tap into that massive database of answers. Now, on top of that LLM-based search experience, OverflowAI also has something they call a Visual Studio Code extension, which enables AI-powered pair programming. Now, some people were skeptical of this. Mike Young responded to Stack Overflow's tweet about OverflowAI saying, "This you?" He added a screenshot where Stack Overflow banned the use of all generative AI when posting content to the site. At the time they wrote, "Overall, because the average rate of getting correct answers from ChatGPT and other generative AI technologies is too low, the posting of answers created by ChatGPT and other generative AI technologies is substantially harmful to the site and to users who are asking questions and looking for correct answers." Mike at Grabu, however, responded in saying that makes total sense and is aligned with their announcement. They're doing semantic search similar to document Q&A, still not adding any generative AI capabilities. In my opinion, that's where the leverage for them is. There's a lot of answers out there. The key is to find the answer quick and get the right one. So to try to sum up this exchange, Stack Overflow's position on AI has been that AI-based answers to questions that are posted to Stack Overflow reduce the overall quality of answers on Stack Overflow because they're too often wrong, and nothing about that is inconsistent with their new approach to AI, which is to use LLMs to better give people access to search for answers from within their massive repository of correct answers. One of the features people really seem to be liking about it is that it actually cites the sources that it used to determine the answer that it helped create. Now, people have a sense that this might be the last gasp for Stack Overflow. Santiago tweeted, "Stack Overflow is fighting back. Stack Overflow traffic has been declining for several years, but after the release of ChatGPT, things took a turn for the worse. Posting activity on the site fell the equivalent of 5 years in just 6 months. People stopped visiting the site and asking questions. Many thought this was a slow and painful death and there was no coming back. Today, their CEO announced OverflowAI. If you can't beat them, join them, right?" Next up, we turn to Intel, who just had their Q2 earnings call this week, and their CEO, Pat Gelsinger, was pretty clear about how they view the AI world. As Pat put it, we're going to build AI into every platform we build. So what does that actually mean? Well, the big one is something they're calling Meteor Lake. It's Intel's first consumer chip that has a built-in neural processor for machine learning tasks. Basically, what Intel is arguing is a vision of the world in the future where every application basically needs some sort of artificial intelligence. However, not every application is going to be able to access the cloud at all times. Because of that, people are going to need AI-centered processing right on their local devices. Gelsinger said, across every aspect of consumer, developer, and enterprise efficiency use cases, we see that there's going to be a raft of AI enablement, and those will be client-centered. Earnings season was also the context for another set of hints around AI features for the future. Spotify CEO Daniel Ek talked about a few different ways in which Spotify might introduce additional AI features. Now, already Spotify has launched their DJ feature, which is a personally curated selection of music alongside an AI-powered commentary that gives you information about the artists and tracks that you're listening to. Now, I will say personally, just for a moment, this seemed kind of like a gimmick at first to me, but after having used it a bit, I actually quite like the feature. X seems to as well. He said, DJ is a phenomenal product. It's probably one of my personal favorites over the last few years that we have developed. And we've seen really strong consumer interactions with that. And that just talks about the ability for us to contextualize and personalize all the amazing content that we have on the Spotify platform. So another area besides just better music recommendations is podcast summaries. X said that this could lower the barrier to entry for consumers to check out new podcasts, which would certainly be something that I was interested in. And then, of course, you can't get away from the advertising use of AI. We talked on the brief about how Meta had seen such gains in their Reels product thanks to better AI-powered content recommendations, and Ek and Spotify are thinking about something similar as well. On that call, he said, by using generative AI in our tools here, I think you're going to be able to see that we can significantly reduce the cost that it takes for advertisers to develop new ad formats. And that obviously means that you, as an advertiser, instead of having one ad, you can imagine having thousands and tested across the Spotify networks. Lastly, as TechCrunch notes, Spotify has also filed a patent for an AI-powered text-to-speech synthesis system. Speculation is that they may be looking to go much deeper in the way that AI-powered speech comes to their system. For example, narrating audiobooks or something else entirely. Lastly, TradePub Payments is reporting that DoorDash, the food delivery startup, is apparently testing an AI chatbot in some of its markets. Bloomberg has said that the system is called Dash AI and that it allows customers to, quote, get personalized restaurant recommendations with simple text prompts. The code for Dash AI gave some examples of how users might query the system. Can you show me some highly rated and affordable dinner options nearby? What's a place that delivers burgers that also has really good salad options? Where can I get authentic Asian food? I like Chinese and Thai. Now, on the one hand, I have to say of the things that we've talked about so far today, this seems the most perhaps like just trying to jump on the bandwagon, right? Specifically, given today's habits around how people use DoorDash, is this really a meaningful shift and increase in the user behavior? However, here's the counter-argument. If we really move into a world where natural language becomes the default interface for talking to computers and interacting with apps, then this sort of query, can you show me some highly rated and affordable dinner options nearby, is exactly the type of thing that people are going to be asking in 2 or 3 years, versus now knowing how to navigate through an app's custom rating system and filters and all the sort of menu options that will feel very old if this sort of natural language interface becomes dominant. So basically one of two things happens. Either the paradigm shifts and Dash AI looks like they got the future faster, or it doesn't, and hey, everyone else was trying this AI thing at the same time. No harm, no foul. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for today's AI breakdown. What companies' AI integrations are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments. And until next time, peace.